wanted to ask real quick, and you can just shout out something. Why are you here? Like, why did you come? You can yell out words. Friends? Okay, to see friends, I love that. Why? For Steve, yes. But we should do like 3 cheers for Steve, because that's why I came too. Anyone else? Like, what else? Why else did you come? Why are you here? What? Free stuff, yes! Woo! Free stuff. We love free stuff. Anything else? A night out? What? Freedom, I like it. I love that. Okay, well, I want to tell you a little bit about this year and why this came to be. So I had my own personal transformation. I'll tell you guys about that. But over the last few months, like, it became so apparent that, like, we as women needed somewhere to, like, feel uplifted, find hope, find peace, like, as moms or sisters or friends. Like, we have so many responsibilities right now, and then just with 2020 being, you know, what 2020 is, I don't even know how to sum it up, but you all know what that means. We have a lot of burden, we have a lot of things we're carrying. And so as I was kind of going through my own thing, my own transformation, I started like feeling like I wasn't alone in wanting something to uplift me in all aspects of my health. Everything, physical, mental, emotional, everything. And so I decided, I woke up one morning and I messaged my friend Steffanie and I was like, I want to do this night. I think it'd be so cool if we gather these women and we do this. And she was like, that sounds really cool. And then I was like, I'm going to call Steve. Because I personally have been able to visit with Steve over the last few years, on and off, when I've experienced like anxiety or depression, different things that I've gone through. If like, I mean, you name it, like I've gone to Steve, like whenever I'm like, I'm struggling, I need to go see Steve. And he has helped give me so much hope. And so I contacted him and he was so excited to be here. And then just over and over, things just kept falling into place. And so that is why we're all here tonight. It's just that I felt there was a need, and as I sent out the registration and heard people's comments of like why you wanted to come, and some people feeling like hopeless, some people feeling like they're struggling so much, like I think we can all relate. And so I hope while you're here you feel that, like, if anything, even if like me stumbling on my words and it doesn't make sense, I hope there's something you feel with everybody speaking that makes you feel uplifted in what you need. So let me tell you about where I was. So I told you already, I've experienced the anxiety and depression at different times in my life. And then at the beginning of this year, I had my 3rd baby in 3 years. So we had, our oldest was like 2.5, and then I had my 3rd baby. So we've got lots of babies at home. And I feel like at that point, I was just surviving, which as a mom with newborns, you kind of just survive anyways. But I feel like just in that point in my life, I felt like, gosh, I got to change something and take care of me, because like I felt like I was drowning. So I decided this was the year I was going to change. And so I was on Facebook. One of my friends, Tressa, she couldn't be here, but she had this before and after picture of like her right after her baby, and she looked so good. And I was like, that sounds awesome. And she was talking about her life transformation, and I was like, okay. So I called her, talked to her, and I just was like, I'm gonna do it. So I ended up doing it, and I wanted to show you this. Oh, isn't that lovely? Oh, that's not it. Darn it. Well, I'll show you this one for now. So that was me 6 months ago. And so like, that was Easter with my little boy JJ, and this was like a month ago. And I decided that I was gonna commit to like taking care of myself. And although it started out as like focusing on weight, because I think that's what we do sometimes, is focusing on our weight, it was so much more than weight. So I wrote down the things that really like my real transformation with. So you can see all the negative things that I felt about myself, and I mean, that's just a short list. But on this side, I'm like, I can't tell you how good I feel regardless of 2020. Like, my mental state is like, you can ask my husband, he wanted to come because he wanted to support me, so, so there is a man in the building. But you can ask him, I have never been in a better mental state because I focused on me for a minute and put me first and took care of myself, and now I'm like so much more capable of taking care of others. So I ended up this year deciding like, okay, I want to help other people. So that's what I'm doing. I decided to sponsor this night towards health, and not just physical health. I'm the only person that's really going to talk about your physical health, and this is pretty much what it's going to be. But I just wanted to let you know, if you are in a place where you need to transform, maybe your goal is weight, like, I am happy to help, and I know that as you focus on yourself, if that's something you want to focus on, it's going to affect all the other things. I actually just want to give the rest of the time because we have so much to look forward to, but if I could just say again, like, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for supporting this night, and sorry, I'm like so overwhelmed just because I'm so happy to see all these faces. Thank you for being here, and I know that the rest of the night you're going to experience some awesome things, and we'll get free stuff, so that will be great. So thank you for coming. We're going to now go into giveaways.
Woo, okay, you guys.
Oh,
I've been planning this with Ashley, and it's been so fun. And thank you also for what you said. Like, it's been really cool to see the path that Ashley's put herself on, and what a big, giant ball of sunshine she is. I mean, she always has been. We went to high school together, and we weren't really friends. We were like friends of friends. But I knew she had a light. I knew she was special because I remembered her. And now I know like her entire family somehow. Some weird way, I know her whole family. And yeah, she's just a huge ball of light to be around, so thank you. And thank you for inviting me to do this because I notoriously say no to giving talks in church. And listening to myself in the microphone and looking at faces staring back at me is like a pure anxiety attack. But this is why we're here. This is why we're here, is because I have a message that I need to give to you. And when Ashley specifically asked me for this message, I said yes, because everybody needs this. Everybody needs to have the power to know how to do this. Who of you have used or do use affirmations on a somewhat regular basis? Anybody? Oh my gosh, yes, I'm so proud of you guys. And if you have tried them and don't really think they work or think they're kind of silly, I've been there. I've absolutely been there with you. So next month, well, okay, sorry. So much adrenaline, you guys. I will get there. So 4 years ago next month, I had my second baby. I lived at Provo Canyon in a little cabin. I was waiting for my house to be built. And I had this newborn baby with 6 feet of snow outside. Couldn't really go anywhere. And my husband, the nature of his job is he kind of had to go back to work really soon. So I was alone a lot. I got depressed. I was hit pretty hard with postpartum depression. And I really struggled for a little bit. What I needed was connection, and I wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting people visiting me because I lived so far in the snow and all that stuff. I had a really awesome friend, really amazing friend who showed up for me. I love you. She made sure to make time to come see me because she knew I was struggling. And once I opened up to my husband, I'm struggling. These are the thoughts going through my head on a daily basis. He said, whoa, okay, I will make sure you are not alone, and we're gonna get you help, and we're gonna move forward. Well, in January, I had the opportunity to join a makeup company, and I'm not shy of starting something new. I've kind of been an entrepreneur since I was 2. I love it. I love business. I love doing it. I love doing that kind of stuff. And so I was like, sure, I'll do this makeup thing because it's new and it sounded super fun. And I gained a really cool, upline. My leader. She's amazing. She will forever be in my heart because she taught me self-development. And she introduced a book to me called The Miracle Morning. Have any of you heard of The Miracle Morning? Yay, I'm so glad. I read that book and I consumed it. I loved it so much. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do this miracle morning thing. It's like 7 things. You wake up an hour early before your family. I have like a 6-week-old and I'm waking up an hour earlier. I don't know why. And you like journal and work out and meditate and affirmations and visualization and personal development in an hour. You give yourself like 10 minutes for each. Well, affirmations was one of those things, and I'd never really done those before. Except I had, and I didn't know it. I was struggling really hard with my body. That second baby post-body was not very fun. I was putting on huge clothing to like try and cover it up, and that makes it worse. And I would stand in the mirror and I would say these affirmations. These are not an exaggeration. You're so fat. You're such a cow. Why are you so ugly? Why can't you be consistent with whatever diet you're trying this week? Why can't you get up and be a better mom? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Those are affirmations, not positive ones, but they are affirmations. And I share that with you because you need to know that your word is so powerful, one way or the other. Whatever you're telling yourself in the mirror every day, so powerful. So I started doing positive affirmations, and I never really done positive affirmations before. And so I was just pulling them off like Pinterest. Like I wanted a cute, graphic, or I wanted something cute to look at in the morning. And I would say this like, I am beautiful, I am successful. And I was like, what? I'm not beautiful today. I wasn't beautiful yesterday. How am I beautiful today? Like, I don't know. These are dumb. These are dumb. And I started to resent them. And really, honestly, I hated it. I hated saying these affirmations every morning. And I was like, you know what? I can just take that out of my routine. I'm working on this other stuff, which was great. I was. But I don't need affirmations. It's fine. Well, a couple months later, I was doing something for my baby. I don't remember. I was changing a diaper. I was feeding her a bottle. I started like focusing in on my hands. And now that I think back about it a few years later, I think God was saying, hey, listen up. I got something I need to tell you. I was looking at my hands. I'm going to cry so much this day. And I realized my hands are beautiful. My hands are beautiful. They're serving my daughter. They keep my kids alive. They keep me alive, even though I was eating frozen pizza and McDonald's every day. Just surviving, right? Just surviving. And they serve, they're creative. My hands are so cool. My hands are beautiful. Well, that in itself, my hands, was proof that I was beautiful. There was a part of me that I had proof that was beautiful. So that clicked for me, and I realized that the rest of me can be beautiful. Maybe I don't believe it right now. Maybe that's too hard to like take all of that on, but slowly I could go, you know what? Hey, my shoulders, they're pretty cute. I like showing my shoulders off. And I was starting to go to the gym, and then I'd see like, this thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, my biceps are so cute. And I started having proof. Every time I would remember that first affirmation that I am beautiful because of my hands, it gave me power to want to do it more and more and more. So why do we even want affirmations? Why do we need affirmations? Well, they can do so many things for you. They literally run my life now. I don't really have like the miracle morning where I sit and say like specific phrases every day, but I use it all day, throughout my day, to remind myself of things. So it reminds me of the amazing qualities that I already have, and then I can expand those qualities and grow with that because I'm reminding myself that they exist. They keep you positive, they keep you upbeat, and they keep your day going a little bit better. They can help you achieve your goals that you want, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And more importantly, they give you confidence and self-love. They really, truly can help you love yourself if you know how to use them right. So we're going to go into the 3 secrets of affirmations, and then I'm going to help you guys create your own affirmation. So first secret, the first secret of your affirmations, you have to believe your affirmation in some form, even if it's just that teeny tiny bit. You have to believe it. Second is you have to take action. So if you were to just sit there and meditate every day, say, I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I believe it. I am a millionaire, right? And then you sat there and you didn't do anything. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be a millionaire. Like, I'm pretty sure a pile of money is not going to fall in your lap just by sitting there, right? Well, if we start to take action and work towards that goal, what we're doing is giving ourselves more proof that that original affirmation is true. And then it becomes a cycle. And this is your third secret, is you're using an affirmation as a stepping stone and not a magic pill. It's not just something you're gonna say every day and then one day you're gonna believe it. Maybe there's some like brain psychology that I don't know about. Maybe that will work if you say it enough times. But I truly believe you need to get up and do something about it. And maybe it's just a little bit every day. You don't have to do a lot. But if you like want to be confident in Facebook Lives or something like that, if you need to run a Facebook Live for your business and you're scared out of your mind, sorry, you got to do a Facebook Live. You have to show up and try it. You have to give it your everything. And if you want to remember a time where you were confident, like if you're confident with your best friend and you want to pretend like you're just talking to your best friend on that Facebook Live, perfect. You've got to try it. You've got to practice it. You've got to continue forward and take the action. And that third secret is using that as a stepping stone, because then it just becomes a cycle. Your cycle is say the affirmation with a little bit of proof, take the action that you need to improve whatever that is, and that adds more proof. And then you say it again and you believe it more, and then you take action and you add more proof, and then you believe it more and more. And I really think that that will help you progress to anything you want to do. Okay, you all have a little affirmation card and hopefully a pen. If you don't have a pen, raise your hand or something, we'll get you one. But okay, cool. So let's make your own affirmation. And you can use, there's another card there with like, it's just a note card, so you can take notes on that other card that came with it. So you can use your note card to kind of like figure out some thoughts and then write your affirmation. Some of you is gonna have real cute handwriting and make a cute little affirmation that you can put on your mirror or your wall or something like that. So first thing, what is your goal? Like, what do you want? Do you want to love yourself? Do you want more confidence? Do you want to lose weight? Which I think you need to love yourself first and then lose weight, but it can happen in the process, absolutely. But what's your goal? What is the goal that you have? And if like inspiration's not coming to you right now for this, just write down these questions and then you can come back to it and really think about it later. So what's your goal? Okay, how do you want to feel when you achieve that goal? What is the feeling you're chasing because you got to that goal? If you want to lose a bunch of weight, why? What do you want to feel? And then who do you need to be? Like when you get to that goal and you're thinking about that person who hit that goal that is you, what is that person doing? What is that person doing when they hit that goal? And can you start doing that right now? And then, what action do you need to take? And the last question is, what are your limiting beliefs around this? Why don't you think that you can be that person? And then you need to think about what I just said. Where's the proof? Where's the proof that you have already been that person in the past, or you are just a little bit right now? So let's go back to like the Facebook Live thing really quick. because I've had to work with a few people in the makeup company that I did. They didn't want to show up live because they were scared out of their minds. So they wanted to be confident, right? They wanted to be confident in a Facebook Live. Why? Because they didn't want to, they had fear of failure, fear of looking like a fool, right? That was their limiting belief around it. So how do you want to feel? You want to feel confident. So you could say, I am confident, but then where's the proof? So what do you want to be like when you're with your best friend? You're your whole self, right? You're all you. And you're showing up as the best you that you have when you're with your best friend or your sister or your mom or your husband or whoever that is. You have that in you already. That is already in you. So use that proof. And you can say, I am confident showing up as me. You want to be you, right? You don't want to be somebody else. Maybe you want to be a better you, but you're already you, and you need to get to know that you, I'm like going in circles now, but you already have everything you need inside. You do. You're already there. You have proof of whatever you want to achieve in the future. So find the proof. Believe that affirmation the first time, even if it's just a little bit. Go take the action that you need to do that. Go do that dang Facebook Live. Go to that very first high fitness class. Go eat some broccoli for the first, I don't know. I don't know what a health goal would be, but do something first and then add that proof and say that affirmation daily and take as much action as you can daily. Don't overwhelm yourself, because I always tell everybody you got to give yourself so much grace or you're never going to get anywhere, because none of us are perfect. And then just do that cycle and use it as a stepping stone and just continue to grow the best you can. I don't know how I am on time. Am I way over? Am I got like 1 minute? Okay, because I just wanted to know if anybody thought of an affirmation, if they'd be willing to share. It's okay if you don't want to. I just thought I would throw it out there to kind of give ideas for other people. You want to share? You would? Okay. Do you want this, or do you want to talk loud? Okay.
My confirmation,
Affirmation. It's same thing. It really is.
I haven't felt a beautiful body, and it's sufficient or sufficient for my needs.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. Yes. Give her a hand. I love it. That's something I forgot to say too. Like, once I started with my hands, I eventually got to my belly. I might be wearing Spanx, but I got some joyful happiness in here. Did you know that the female body naturally gathers fat here to protect your reproductive organs? I just found that out like a couple years ago. Maybe most people know that. Is that not cool? Okay? So our bellies are cool. I started saying, you guys are laughing at me, but I started saying, my belly is beautiful, and I believe it, because there's some crazy cool things about this area of your body, right? Like, I grew 2 human beings in there, and it digests my food and keeps me alive, and it's protecting my reproductive organs. Like, is that not cool? And the more you learn about yourself and the more you work on yourself, the cooler you think you are. And so I absolutely love that. Thank you for letting me go on that tangent. Was there anybody else? I thought I maybe had saw one other hand, but was it Casey? No, somebody behind you. Do it. That's so good. Thank you, Casey. Yeah, it's no secret, we're still gonna have negative thoughts. It's gonna happen. And if you have a way to flip it, beautiful. Work on that. Work on flipping those negative thoughts, because those are still affirmations that you're giving away your power to. And we can take back that power by creating positive affirmations and going the direction that we want to go. Okay, I hope you guys take your affirmation cards, put it somewhere where you're going to see where you need it. It doesn't have to be your mirror, it can be your laptop or wherever. And then believe it, because you're amazing. Thank you so much for letting me come here. Thanks.
Steffanie, I loved your talk on affirmations. I have been a huge fan of affirmations for a really long time, and it leads into my thoughts tonight beautifully. It made me think, as she was talking about times in my life when I have intentionally had to use affirmations, and I realized that it was during really stressful times. It was at times where my brain would naturally go to negative thoughts. I actually thought of, I have 3 grown children, and they all just went on a sibling trip last week. They went up to Oregon, went up to the coast with my daughter's boyfriend and my son's girlfriend. And I swear, I even know this stuff, and I'm lecturing my daughter's boyfriend. I'm like, you be careful. You have my entire world in your car, where I did not sleep the nights that they were gone. I just had all of these fears around what would happen if there was an accident. Oh my gosh. And look at it, it's still the power of our thoughts. Just the thought of anything happening to my children, it's just, I think we have to intentionally do the work. I think it's interesting that it's called thought work. We have to do that work every day, every day, every day. My daughter's mission president, he would say that all the time, and so that's a common phrase at our house, is just every day, every day, every day. He actually used it in his conference talk. And I thought, as you were thinking, you guys realize we have between 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And during times of stress, it's really easy to have those thoughts go negative and to go to the worst case scenario. And I don't know if it's true, but as women, and I think as moms, it kind of ups it another ante, we can think those worry thoughts very easily. So I wanted to share what made me think of, thank you, Dan. It made me think of, I am a certified life coach. I got my certification through the life coach school, where Brooke Castillo, I think the arrow is what, there, nope, one before that, but that's okay, we'll go on. She has a saying that she says all the time, that our brains are they're like 2-year-olds running with scissors. They need to be supervised and they need to be managed. And again, my mama heart just can visualize a 2-year-old running with scissors, where they're so wobbly, and just, I mean, the amount of damage that a 2-year-old can accomplish, let alone to themselves, but others around them, with running with scissors. And it just makes me think of the visual of our thoughts being that. I mean, if we don't manage our thoughts, just like what Steffanie was saying, that instantly, I mean, I think it's very natural. The natural man is to look in the mirror and to go, oh, and to honestly point the 3 things that we hate the least, instead of going to the one thing that we love about ourselves, or doing the affirmations to create things that we love about ourselves. Brooke started off as a weight loss coach, and she talked about the one day she made a decision that she was never going to say or to think bad thoughts about herself. She's like, I will have my back for the rest of my life. I will be the one that has my back. And it really stuck with me, because she made the decision. And she said, I can honestly say I've been able to do that. And it's something that when you start to be aware of your thoughts and you start to notice how we talk about ourselves, it was very eye-opening to me that some of the things in the very beginning, I wouldn't say to my dearest friend or my worst enemy. I mean, it's just, I think when we're aware of our thoughts and we do have our own backs and we see our strengths, it's a lot easier to be kinder to ourselves. But in the life coach school, the main tool that they teach is the model. And what the model is it's made up of 5 different things. And it's a few slides back, but we're fine. We'll go Hannah, you're fired. But no, I'm just kidding. The model comprises 5 different things. It's circumstances, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. And we'll just start with circumstances. We're going to do a quick definition of what each of those are. Our circumstances are facts. They're provable in a court of law. Everybody in this room would have to agree on a circumstance for it to be a circumstance. But circumstances are completely neutral. There are things that include other people, our past, where that might not feel like it's a neutral circumstance. It's neither good nor bad. It is what it is. We can't change it. It's a fact. And also in this setting with health, our weight is neutral. It's neither good or bad. And it's amazing how what we make circumstances mean, our thoughts about them, is how it leads into feelings. But go on to the next one. Our circumstances create our thoughts. And thoughts are simply sentences we have in our heads. They are repeated enough to become beliefs. And I loved how Steffanie pointed out that affirmations aren't always positive. They can be good or bad. And so when you repeat a thought over and over and over, it becomes a belief where you truly think it's just a circumstance, when it's just a thought. And a thought can be changed. We get to choose our thoughts. Thoughts are triggered by circumstances, but they're completely neutral. Let's say that again. The thought you think is optional. You decide. You can think anything you want. Thoughts cause feelings, which is our next part of the model. And feelings are simply vibrations in your body caused by your thinking. Feelings cause all of your actions, and examples of feelings are mad, frustrated, happy, joyful, are just some of the feelings that we feel. And our feelings always lead us to action. Then the next one is actions. And actions, inactions, or reactions are all what we do or what we don't do. Examples of actions are working out, planning out your day, meal prepping. Examples of inactions are avoiding, procrastination, blaming, I think is a big one. When you start doing thought work, you get really real and honest with yourself, and we're completely responsible for our actions as well as our results. And buffering. Buffering is a term that I learned in the life coach school, where it kind of blew my mind a little bit and kind of was a bit of a wake-up call for me, because buffering is something we do to avoid a feeling that has a negative consequence. Overeating, overspending, over Facebooking, or anything done to avoid a feeling or a task. Or we think that it will change a feeling. And when we do something that in hopes to change how we're feeling, and my example is eating a gallon of ice cream after a breakup. We've all done it. We've all been there. We think that doing something is going to change how we feel, when it never really does. I am a true believer that a cute new pair of shoes on sale actually can change my life. It has many times, and so that's one I don't think it's buffering. So Steve, you would back that up, right? Absolutely. Which our actions always lead to our results. Results are the effect of all of our actions. Results can be linked back to our thoughts always. If you don't like your results, get real with your thoughts. And on the next page, I wanted to give you guys kind of an example. It's as plain as can be, but just how you do a model. I mean, that's what it is down below: circumstance, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. And so when you do as many models, you shorten it a lot and just can use the initial. But how to do a thought model is you first do a thought download, and I usually do them every morning, and just to calm a brain dump. Sometimes it's a heart dump, or just to get every thought out of my mind. And it is a very powerful exercise, because you can get really real. I think that we as women, I think we have feelings that we don't even recognize that we're having ourselves. We just kind of get up and we go. And Steffanie had mentioned sometimes we're in survival and you just go. I'm a woman and a mom at heart. When I do my thought downloads, many times I'll have a little grocery list up above. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta get tortillas. And then then I'll empty my thoughts, and it's like, oh, it hurt my feelings, man. Oh yeah, I need sour cream. I mean, it's amazing. 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, guys. And so it helps, once you get it out of your mind, it stops that loop of just, oh, I gotta do that, I gotta do that. So to empty out our minds. And after you do a thought download, it can either be 10 minutes or however long, or it can be until you fill up an entire page, which will come surprisingly fast. It's, again, when we just free write, don't worry about spelling or editing and just dumping. After you've done that, you can separate thoughts and facts. And I just will circle facts. I have a friend that she'll actually do a list, and ain't nobody got time for that. I've already done my list, and I'll just circle facts. And you will be surprised at how many of our thoughts are actually just thoughts. They're not facts, but facts are equal to circumstances, and you can plug that in and run a model from that. I coach a lot of women, and it's pretty fascinating to coach someone. It's just holding space and helping them see their thoughts. I never have judgment. I'm doing this work just as much as anybody is, but when I'm coaching someone and she'll tell me a thought, there are some times where I'm like, out of all of the thoughts you could think right now or in the situation, why are you choosing to think that? I mean, how is that serving you? How is the thoughts of you're disgusting, or, I mean, how it just doesn't serve you. And so when you have someone to be able to show you your thoughts and you can question them, and that's what a model does, is you get to put it down in there. And I wanted to share, I know time's really short and I want to leave Steve as much time as we can, but I wanted to share, I had a reminder of how powerful it is when you do thought work. A few weeks ago, I had my purse stolen out of my car, and I was in the movie. My daughter and I were totally playing hooky, and we went to the movies, and we were in there, and she got up to go to the restroom. For some reason, I checked my phone, and I have a card guard that it notifies me when my credit cards are being used. And it started going crazy. It's like 200 at Nike, 160 at Columbia, 200 at, I mean, it was just, and I'm like, whoa, I'm at the movies. I mean, it was just, had a complete panic. Went out, sure enough, some gentleman broke into my car, stole my purse that had my wallet, and he did about $4,000 worth of damage in a blink, where I have no balances on my credit card, and it was just like, holy cow, I would have loved to have done $4,000 on my credit card, but it really got to me, and I was in a funk for a good couple days, and you know all the work. I had to go get a new driver's license. I had to call all the credit card companies, and I was really I just felt this heaviness, and after about day 4 or 5, I was like, holy cow, and I did a model on that experience, and I just want to share with you. We'll use this as an example. And so for the circumstance, guy stole my purse. My thought was, this is so scary. He had my driver's license that had my address, and I'm a single mom, and all my kids are home right now, and I have 2 beautiful daughters where, again, moms, we go to that worst possible thought, and so it turned to be very scary to me. It made the feeling, I felt vulnerable and I felt like a victim. I felt very scared. My actions as I looked for other situations that would reinforce this situation. I looked for other ways that other people could hurt me or scare me. And my mind started going, oh my gosh, what if he had my social security? What if he bought a car? What if they're gonna come get my house? I mean, I am a good, I was going down that path. And the result to all of that, because they each lead into the next one, the result to that was fear. And I sat with that for a minute, and I'm like, do I really want to feel fear? Do I want to feel so afraid and so scared right now? And so I did an intentional model, which is so powerful to be able to put in your result. You can choose the result and go backwards and see what are the actions you need to do. What are some of the thoughts you would need to think to have that? So I did the exact same circumstance. Guy stole my purse. The thought I had was, anyone who steals must have some issues that I'm not aware of. That thought alone changed everything for me, because the feeling that I immediately had was compassion. It just changed everything. And when I went to that place of compassion, The actions were, I looked for ways to show kindness. I was kind and patient with the police officers. Got a couple of personal friends out of this. We laugh and we joke, and they drive by my house constantly because they know I'm afraid that, or I choose not to be, but it's a concern that he still does have our address. But Costco, dawned on me. He created a bunch of checks with my driver's license and my Costco card, and went in and bought huge items like jewelry and a couple laptops, and went into 3 different stores. And so it's just, I don't know why I do that, and I guess I'm not done with my thought work. I'm still have a little bit of issues of that annoys me, but the result to that thought was I am completely in control, and I felt very empowered, and I knew that I could choose how I felt, and it changed everything. So I was able to show kindness and compassion to anyone, no matter the situation. So I would like to challenge you all. I know that you guys are getting a lot of information, but tonight, before you go to bed, take 10 minutes or so and do a thought dump, and just download your day and check out the thoughts between the facts. And when they're thoughts, look at them and see if they're serving you, and see if they're really real. Are they really true? Or is it really just something that keeps looping, a thought that you've had so many times that it's now become a belief? It doesn't make it so. We get to choose our thoughts. So I hope that you will take some of this information and create your own models. You're welcome to. Anybody has questions, it's kind of hard to do in the very beginning, because I usually do this with smaller groups of women, and we help each other. And it's funny to see people who are brand new learning how to do models are like, oh, no, that's a thought. It's like, and they'll argue, but we help each other to fill in the model. So I hope you can do that, and thank you for letting me share a few thoughts on thoughts. So thanks.
I'll tell you just a tiny bit about myself, and then we'll get started into the guided meditation. I have been studying mindfulness, practicing on my own for I think it's been about 10 years now, and I received my yoga and mindfulness training in India a little over 4 years ago. Since then, I've been teaching all over the place. I've taught for about 30 different companies. I teach primarily mindfulness, but a lot of yoga as well. So that just gives you a little bit about myself if you're wondering why I'm standing up here and what we're about to do right now, if I've ever done this before. So I have, and I love meditation for many, many reasons. Primarily for what it does within myself. The stillness and the calm space I can find within, you cannot find anywhere else. And with the state of the world right now, I find it very appropriate to spend a bit of time with ourselves, finding that stillness within. So we're gonna do about 9 minutes of meditation here. I'll guide you through it before Stephen. Now I gotta check my time so I don't go over. Okay, so we're gonna start. If you've never meditated before, it doesn't matter. I'll walk you through it. So remove anything from your hands. If you're holding anything that might be distracting you, drop everything. And then uncross your feet if your feet are crossed, planting your feet firmly on the ground. And roll your shoulders down and back so you create some space through your chest, and sit back in your chair. You want to be comfortable. And now close your eyes. It's been a night full of uplifting messages, good conversation, but take a moment to just notice what it feels like to be seated here in your chair, in this beautiful space, and just notice your breath. Observe what it feels like to be seated here with your feet grounded into the earth, just breathing. Today's meditation will be centered on self-love. It can often be challenging to receive love from ourselves. But I ask you to look past the doubt, look past the opposition, allowing yourself to really feel the love for yourself tonight. In this place of stillness, bring an image of yourself into your mind. Imagine yourself standing in front of you. Observing all the little details. Notice what you're wearing. Noticing the expression on your face. Now in this moment, it's easy to want to start nitpicking and pointing out things maybe that we're not a big fan of. But look past that. Look deeper. Starting with your face. Observing and seeing the humanity in your face. Maybe there's some little lines near your eyes, near your mouth. Love these lines, for they were hard-earned, and they show great signs of wisdom in life. Noticing your hair, whether it's curly, straight, long, short, fluffy, whatever it is. Maybe there's some white or some gray hairs intermixed. Love this hair. Appreciate that you have this beautiful hair. Bringing your awareness to your mouth. Think of all the beautiful, kind words of upliftment that your mouth has spread across this world. And appreciate your mouth. Noticing your shoulders. These shoulders that have carried weight, that have helped lift and hold you tall and strong. Appreciate and love these shoulders. Looking at your arms and your hands. These arms that have lifted and maybe sometimes even carried others that are in need. As you notice your hands, look at the little lines on your hands. Maybe there's dirt underneath your fingernails. Think of all the beautiful things that your hands have helped you to accomplish. And love your hands. Noticing your chest and your torso. And appreciate all that your body has done for you. Maybe you've brought other humans into this world. Or maybe you've accomplished amazing feats. Love and appreciate your chest and your torso for these things. But then look past everything on the outside and look at your heart. This heart that loves and cares for so many people and things. Appreciate yourself for this beautiful heart that you have. about all the wonderful things you've been able to accomplish with your legs. The people that you've been able to walk beside. The places that you've been able to go. Appreciate and love these legs. Noticing your feet, giving you the opportunity to stand tall. Appreciate your feet. Noticing yourself as a whole standing in front of you. And in your mind, repeating the phrase, you are brave, you are beautiful, you are enough. You are brave, you are beautiful, you are enough. I am brave, I am beautiful, I am enough. Picturing now in your mind's eye the other women in your life who support and uplift you. Your army of support. Imagine these women are all next to you, behind you, and around you. Maybe you're all holding hands or linking arms. Notice how it feels to be surrounded by all these people who lift and support you. During this challenging time, we often can't be next to the people that we love the most. But here in this space, you can feel that energy, that presence, that love. As you look upon this picture of yourself with these wonderful people, saying the phrase, you are brave, you are beautiful, you are enough. We are brave, we are beautiful, we are enough. Sending all the love and appreciation you can to these beautiful, wonderful women in your life. And slowly bringing your attention back into this room.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter. But I see it in you, and we gon' walk it out. And mountains, we can walk it out. And mountains, and I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up. And I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, rise unafraid. that we have each other. Hey, we will rise, oh, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise, and we'll rise up, rise like the day. We'll rise up, and in spite of the end, we will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, rise like the day. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again. And for you, for you, for you, for you. We will rise. We will rise.
And I was grateful to have Ashley call and ask me to come and say a few words. I hope you can see me, okay? The answer to the question, burning in all of your minds, is 5'4", in case you're wondering. Ashley asked me to talk about hope. And if there's anything we need this year, that would be it, wouldn't it? It's been a rough year in a lot of ways, but what's interesting is that we don't really find hope as well if things are going really, really wonderful. Against a backdrop of a lot of suffering and difficulty, hope is a very refreshing thing. So I want to talk with you about that a little bit. And with some of the things that have been said tonight, I just have really loved and appreciated it. It blends well with what I'm going to say. And one thing I want to talk about first and foremost is finding a little bit of hope in ourselves. Sometimes we make mistakes and do things that we feel like, oh, am I ever going to become something or get past where I'm at or be better than this? I'm going to give you hope with a little story. Okay, some years ago, my now 20-year-old was in kindergarten, and they have this thing that's called Scarecrow Day. And Scarecrow Day is a day where a dad gets to go with his little kindergartner to the school, and you bring some little toddler clothes and newspaper, and you make a little scarecrow, you stuff it, and it's a lot of fun. You spend an hour with the kid. So Jackson and I had a great time, and then at the end of the hour, the teacher stood up and she said, now, you parents, if you want to take your little scarecrows home, you just go up to the front office and you can check them out up there. And I thought, it's a lot of security for a little scarecrow, but okay. So I grabbed the scarecrow. You moms know what's going on, don't you, right? I go up to the front office with this scarecrow. I'm waiting in line. Check this scarecrow out. And there's a lady in front of me. She's got her scarecrow and her little kid, and she's filling out this paper, and I'm like, that's probably where you check out the scarecrow. So I'm waiting. She leaves. I go up. The secretary's there, but she's on the phone, busy. I go up. It says name. I can do that. Steve Eastmond. Now I have incriminated myself. Name of child. Turn to the secretary. This is the form for checking out your child. Where's the form for checking out the scarecrow? This is a true story, okay? Well, there's a mom behind me waiting who loses it laughing. She cannot contain herself. She's laughing so hard. You know when you do that? And when you try to speak, it's like you got helium, you know? And she squeaked out in between just tears. She says, they don't care about the scarecrow. She says, the teacher was saying, if you want to take your child home, go up to the front and check out your kid. So I went home really fast. So, left the kid in class, by the way. So I'm just saying, like, yes, there's hope, okay? We can have hope in ourselves that things can get a little bit better, that even when we do something really stupid, that life is still good, we can have a laugh about it and it can get a little better. I wanted to first look up just your average, everyday, garden variety dictionary definition of how, in general, hope is defined. So I went to the Cambridge Dictionary, and this is what it says. To want something to happen or to be true, and to usually have a good reason to think that it might. But you know what? There's an inference there of uncertainty, isn't there? Hope's a little hard to define. There's an inference that says it might happen. Maybe. But I want to talk to you about a different kind of hope than that. I want to talk to you about having hope in stuff that's very, very real. Hope not just in possibilities, but what you really can accomplish. What's not just something you kind of wish for, but something you hope for. They're different things. A wish is something that you don't do anything about, really. You just kind of, you think, oh man, I wish that would happen. And then you go in the other room and watch a movie or something. But hope says, I hope that I can accomplish X, Y, or Z thing. And then you get up and you go do it. Hope is motivating, it's uplifting, and it is based on principles that are actually true, even though in the moment you can't see them yet. But you have hope that they're going to materialize, so you can pull this off. I would wager a bet, for example, that there was a day not long ago when Lexi here was thinking, I hope I could really sing. Well, you just heard that, right? Yeah, we all can accomplish great and wonderful things. Sorry, I pace. So I hope you're okay over there with the camera. So there are a lot of things that you might have thought of tonight that you want to accomplish, or maybe you have been thinking of things you wanted to do, but maybe you haven't had hope. Maybe you've been doubting yourself a little bit. Maybe you've only been wishing. Let's talk about what hope really is. It's a function of cognition first, something you think about. That's what we've been talking about tonight. Get your thoughts into a place where you want something to happen. You think about what you really want to accomplish. That produces emotions. And that's followed then by a course of action that we take. That's what real hope is all about. Course of action. So I'll give you an example of a couple of examples of this. Harvard professor, an anthropologist by the name of, see if I can remember this, Stephen Jay Gould. I think that's how you pronounce it. He was 40 years old when he was diagnosed with a very rare abdominal cancer. And the prognosis was not good. They said the median survivability was about 8 months. Well, he was devastated, of course you would be, by that news. But he wanted to have hope. So, using what he knew as a professor, he said, I'm going to look at this statistically. Median means halfway. And quoting him, he said, the median was not the message. The median is halfway. So he's saying half of the people won't make it to 8 months, but half of the people will make it past that. What do I need to do to be in that half? And so he started thinking about it. Well, I'm young, I'm only 40. I'm in relatively good health. Medical care that I have is very, very good. These are all things that look good for me, and the diagnosis was caught very early. So I have a good chance of being in that group. What can I do now to make this happen? And so he started going to work, to stay healthy, to go to the doctor, to follow everything they said. Well, Dr. Gould outlived that prognosis. He lived another 20 years. In fact, he died of an unrelated illness. Hope matters. Will you put up that next slide there? I want you to see something here. That is what we call a mosaic. It's a piece of art, an abstract piece of art. It's made out of ceramic tiles that you take a little ceramic tile cutter and clip these little things in the shape you want, and then you cement them down to a board, and then you put grout in, like tile grout, like you'd use a backsplash or bathroom tile. This is appropriate for this time of year. That's the nativity. See if you see it. Do you see Mary in the blue, holding the baby Jesus in the white, and Joseph in the back, and the stars up there in the sky? You see that? It's pretty cool, isn't it? Well, it's cooler when you know that that was made by my dad. It's awesome. You know what's really cool? He's completely blind. I can't do that, and I can see. You might wonder how he pulled that off. Well, he does have a master's degree in art. He used to be able to paint very, very well. He's 82 now. He can't paint, but he can do art. He sees in different ways. How would a blind man have hope? Well, there you go. He's also a little stubborn. I can tell you that. So at one point, he had to retire early when he was 55 years old, and he got bored, and he decided, I want to finish the basement. He was blind. So he went down, he cut a 16-inch 2x4, because studs are 16 inches apart in the wall when you frame, and he framed the basement, one nail and one hammer at a time. Lots of sore thumbs. He designed it, he framed it. We let him do a good portion of that because he was bored, he wanted to do it. We didn't let him do the electricity. It's not a good idea for a blind person. But that is what hope can give you. Hope is laced with action. It's not a wish. It's what you do with the goals that you have, that you move forward into that hope and accomplish something big. So actually, I want to give you a little acronym to think about. HOPE, how's that? Each letter stands for a piece of hope that is very significant for obtaining it. If you want to have hope in your life, this is what you do. H, happiness. To get happiness, don't just wait around for it to show up. That doesn't work. Look out there at what happiness you want and set the goals and the actions accordingly to get there. Whether you're a religious person or not, for our purposes, doesn't matter. I want to read to you a piece of a verse of Scripture that applies to something here, of a family that says that they lived after the manner of happiness. It doesn't say they lived happily ever after. They lived after the manner of happiness. That's a decision that was made by these people, that even though this family lived in a whole ton of adversity and challenges, that they were going to be happy. And there are choices that can be made by each one of us in the middle of adversity to be happy anyway. As another example of that, some 6 years ago, I went through a divorce. Not a fun experience. Some of you here have been through divorce before and you know what I'm talking about. It's not a great experience. Lots of pain. It's hard to describe that to people unless you've been through it. Well, in the middle of that pain, I decided, you know what? I want to be happy. Even though I'm still very much divorced right now, still. But you know what? I'm a very happy person. I had that as a goal. I want to be happy. So I decided to kind of write a little mantra for myself. And it was, roughly speaking, it was this. I will not live in the shadow of this painful circumstance. I'm not going to sit in this. I can't do anything about the circumstance. It is what it is, but I can do something about how I feel. Now, that didn't just roll over and play dead for me. It took me a long time with a lot of hard work. It works. So you set your sights on what you need to do in order to become happy, and then you go for it. What about optimism? Well, optimism is not just positive thinking. It isn't. It's more like realism. There really are negative things in the world, lots of them. Maybe you've noticed this year, a couple of them, right? But the cool thing about optimism is it looks both at the negative circumstances and also at the same time it looks past them. It incorporates all of it. Pessimism only looks at the negative, but optimism looks at negative and positive, and it balances them. It balances those scales. So that even though there are bad things happening, what else is true? That's a question you can ask yourself if you want to use optimism to your advantage in gaining hope. You can ask yourself, what else could be true? So yeah, there are some negative things going on. This is a hard situation for me, but what else is true? What do I have the power to accomplish even though I'm struggling with this difficult challenge? And then go do it. Well, what about peace? P is for peace. That one is my favorite emotion. I love peace. So I'll give you the same kind of formula. What works for you to feel peace? I would challenge you every day to take at least 15 minutes that you put aside to do some things that work for you to feel peace. Maybe you are a meditator. Maybe you are somebody who prays. Maybe you're somebody who finds a lot of peace in walking in the mountains. In a couple months, that's going to be difficult, but still. Maybe you're somebody who likes to exercise, and that's where you find your peace. There are a lot of different ways. One of the things I discovered was I really love to sit by, like, say, a riverbed with the water going down over the rocks, that sound of the bubbling water, just very relaxing for me. So I built a pond in my backyard with a little waterfall, and it took me all summer. But now I can go out there, except in the winter, and I have to figure something else out. But in the summer, I can go out there and sit next to it and just listen to that. It's just relaxing. You add a nice Diet Dr. Pepper on top of that while you're in there. It's really great. So there are a lot of things you can do that work for you, lots of them. So make some decisions about what those are and choose every day to experience peace. It's important in having hope, very important. And then the last letter is empathy, E for empathy. So with that one, look around. I was very, very fortunate back when I was going through that divorce. Very fortunate to be a therapist. Now, was it hard some days to wake up in the morning, especially right at first, and go to work and counsel people while I was struggling with that? But you know what? Some of the best moments that I've ever experienced happened there because I couldn't think about myself. I couldn't wallow. I needed to be there for those people. And it was amazing to have that experience of being able to empathize with them and for them for 8 hours a day. You know what you learn? If you've ever done this, where you have tried to empathize with people when you're struggling, and you know what I mean by this, you learn pretty quickly your problems are okay compared with what a lot of other people struggle with. The more you reach out and empathize with other people, the more that you're content to deal with your own stuff. There's at least once a day with your family, with neighbors, with friends, somehow, some way, reach out to someone else and give your heart to them instead of getting swallowed up in just your own difficulties. If you want hope when you're in the middle of trouble, don't sit in your pain. Find other people that you can do something for. Speaking of that, I want to back up just a little bit to peace in this sense. Sometimes people, when they're not at peace, they aren't at peace because the challenge that's going on is based on someone else who's hurt them. Now, if I asked you to raise hands, I think most people in here have had an experience where someone in your life has hurt you. I think that's very safe to say. Most of our challenges in this life have to do with other people doing something to hurt us. So let me just say, when you're trying to get peace in the middle of a trial like that, do not seek for peace from the person who hurt you. That just doesn't work. Don't seek for peace there. Too often people struggle and struggle and struggle to get an apology from the person who hurt them, to get them to see and notice how much pain they've caused them. They wallow in misery and it turns into resentment because they're not getting anywhere from the very person who hurt them to get them to apologize. Why do we do that? Why would we think that I'm going to go to the person who hurt me in the first place and see if they'll now give me peace? Don't go there. That doesn't mean it's an opposite of actually forgiveness. Forgiveness is something, if we had another hour, we could talk about that and letting go of that pain. So what I guess I'm saying is, in terms of acquiring hope, it's a pathway of decisions that you make every day to think a certain way and then go act a certain way. So what is it that you hope for? Maybe, in light of some of the things we talked about tonight, maybe you hope for weight loss or good health. Well, let me ask you, are you wishing for it or hoping for it? Your goals can structure that. If you have a goal that says, this year, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, or something like that, that's a wish. If you say, this year, I'm going to exercise 3 to 5 times a week for 30 minutes each time, and I'm going to make sure I'm like careful with what I eat. I'm going to watch my calories. I'm going to make sure I'm eating a whole lot of spinach or whatever, green stuff, whatever the green stuff is. I'm going to eat a bunch of it. I'm going to do it. I'm no nutritionist, I'm a therapist, okay? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying. The goals are based on actual deeds, actions that you can take towards that hope. Not just wishing the pounds off, but really going to work. Granted, to be fair, I understand there are often some health problems and other things that make that even more difficult. So in conjunction with a nutritionist, with a physician, with a nurse, with whatever you need, set a goal that has actions that are attached to it, and then go get it. Go get it. Maybe you're in a marriage right now that you're not happy and you're struggling. Well, just earlier today, I sat with a woman who's in that position. And as she came in, she told me several of the challenges that she faces. My husband does this. My husband does that. He does this other thing. He does this and he won't do that. So I listened to her for a few minutes and we dialogued about how difficult that is. And then we had a little chat that actually followed HOPE. So I said, do you want happiness in your marriage? She said, yeah. And I said, what does that look like? What is it going to take to get that? And she said, well, if we were happy, then we'd be laughing together and we would be able to have some good, deep conversations. And that just doesn't happen right now. And I said, okay, well, first off, you know as well as I do, you can't control him. You can't make him be the perfect husband. But what can you do about you? So she had to think for a minute. And thinking about it, she had discovered, wait a minute, I'm kind of stuck in a negative view of this marriage. All I think about is how much it stinks and how much he sucks. With his socks on the floor and all the stuff that he does. Tyson never does that, does he? Yeah. So in terms of changing that, it's not about changing the spouse, but changing oneself. And I explained to her, when you do the work that it takes for you to be happy, regardless of him, but you look at it like, what can I do to be happy anyway? Then guess what happens is you start to become happy and following that path, independent of what's gone on in the marriage. Then in most cases, I'll give you the exceptions in a second, but in most cases, the other party looks at that like, I better catch up. I like what I'm seeing. They get drawn to you, and they want to improve also. Your exceptions are the kinds of things they want to be sensitive to, the deal killers. Infidelity, abuse, addictions, or just quitting the marriage. And I understand those things happen. It's a little difficult to influence those. I'm talking about regular garden variety marital difficulties, where it gets hard sometimes and we get frustrated. You can lead a horse to water, you know this, right? But you can't make it drink. But you can make it thirsty. You can give it salt and then it wants to drink water all by itself. So just think about what your husband's salt is, what you might influence him with in a positive way. Okay? And what I'm talking about is your change, your happiness. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about giving him a cookie. Okay? I'm talking about those things that are very deep, that you make happiness a cardinal thing for yourself. And then we went down the list. What about optimism? Well, she didn't have optimism in her marriage. She was talking about it like this is a trash heap of a marriage. So we had to start talking about optimism and what was going to be needed in order to accomplish that. How could she have peace in the marriage? There was a lot of tension. It takes two. And in terms of having tension, it always takes two. Now, I will say, for any of you here who have struggled in your marriage, when we go back to some of those other things I was talking about, like addictions and infidelity and those sorts of things, I struggle when I hear people say it takes two to divorce. It takes two to make a marriage work. It doesn't take two to make a divorce happen. It takes one to blow up a marriage. Now, I have seen, to be fair, in my office, couples who are both very responsible for the divorce. They just are on fire with all kinds of problems, but that does happen. But most of the time, what comes in my office is a situation where it's one person who has done something to cause the demise of the marriage. Ultimately, what I'm saying is, you be responsible for you. What do you need in order to acquire happiness, optimism, peace, and empathy in your life? And that'll give you hope. So at this point in time, what I want you to do is think, where do I want to be tomorrow? Do I want to be frustrated and sad? Do I want to be down and discouraged, looking at the world and thinking all is lost? Or do I want to say, you know what? I got this. I got this. I can do this. I am somebody and I'm going to become even better. So I'm going to set my goals. Look out. I'm going to go get hope. Set your goals, ladies. Let's have a good year this coming year. Thanks for letting me be with you.